Yeah, wait, no, that's not it. Okay, let's see. Yay, it's working!
Do you want me to turn it down a notch? Does that look better? Does that look better or no?
Yeah, it looks good. No, it looks too orange. It looked better before.
Like that?
Looks good now. Oh wait, no, turn it down one notch actually. Well, it's hard to tell. It's like, okay, that's.
You said it looks orange, right?
It looks good. Now, okay. That's better. Where you're at right now looks good. Okay. So it's streaming live to this, so this is a good way to test, right? Because it's broadcasting to this. This just hasn't been live
we've
yet.
got 2 freaking delays.
So. Okay. So that's this. I can go like this. Right? How do you do this? Click that. So you preview.
And all the institutions in it.
For 2 years to infiltrate these leftist organizations.
Look at these are high school kids out here. These are high school kids.
No, this is my first time ever protesting.
Wow, how do you feel?
I'm very nervous because I'm in the high-risk group for resisting arrest.
2 minors are going to get arrested. Their parents will be in D.C. Our lawyer is down to support.
Because we can, young people in Boston, can shut down the whole city. If I have 1,000 young people, I can shut down 4 or 5 highways, and this city is in shackles.
Just realized we needed to take over the entire United States and all its.
For 2 years.
Don't.
Yeah, just, you're fine. Just, you need to have people be able
Okay.
to see something.
Sure. Okay, I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
You want me to monitor?
Oh shoot, I am live right now. It for real went live. Okay.
I'll just stand here and if you need any help, just holler.
Okay. All right, everyone. I am doing this live stream so that I can break the news to you about the Sunrise Exposed trailer that we have been working on. We've been working on a Sunrise Exposed documentary, which is going to just wreck the leftist plans to destroy the election and to destroy America. So I really wanted you guys to, well, let's just preface this. This live streaming stuff is pretty new to us. I'm sure you guys are wondering what's going on. We didn't realize we were live for a couple minutes there. It's been frustrating trying to get our live stream going, but it's good to know that we have it up and going. The reason why we're beta testing our live capabilities right now, so I didn't realize we were live. But
you're live on Twitter.
I'm live on Twitter. I'm live on YouTube right now, live on Twitch. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitch yet, please do, because I'm going to be live streaming a lot on Twitch heretofore, especially since YouTube has been demonetizing me. Many of these platforms, like Facebook, have been shadow banning me. So it's even harder for me to get my message out. So we're playing around now on some streaming platforms where we have Restream, which allows us to simulcast onto multiple social media platforms all at once. So this is kind of a beta test. So you guys get to kind of experience some of that with us right now. So, okay.
1 second?
Yeah.
Okay, you're on YouTube, so you can say hi to everyone on YouTube. Here's the other thing. The title is saying multi-streaming with Restream.io, so maybe next time you need to change the title inside the Restream, not just the Sling Studio.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so it says it's showing here that I'm using Restream.io, so I'm not sure how I need to change the title on here.
Now 'cause you're live.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was able to change the title. Yeah, so ta-da! I'm now going to be streaming live with Restream. I guess this is like an advertisement for them because I'm new. I'm such a newbie that I didn't even change the title. We're working off of another streaming software that streams into Restream. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing it this way, and I have like a full-on dashboard with my iPad and my camera here, is because I wanted to show you guys the Sunrise Exposed trailer. Some of the information here it's huge, okay? It basically shows that Sunrise Movement, which is a young organization with a lot of youth who are climate activists, who think that the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't just adopt the Green New Deal and all the radical policies that people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, and others have been pushing. This is the group behind the Green New Deal. These are the people who have been formulating and writing the Green New Deal, okay? And they then got Bernie Sanders, AOC, Chuck Schumer, all of these people to get behind the Green New Deal. And they're the ones now pressuring Biden to get him
People are
to...
talking about an echo. So there's some kind of echo.
Okay, so someone's saying there's an echo.
So let's see if we can figure that out.
Let's see. Audio line in. I wonder if it's from here. No. Some people are saying that there's an echo right now. Let's see.
I think I got it.
Yes, there's an echo for sure. Is it an echo like a repeat? Or is it echo like a... Okay, everyone's saying fixed. Better. Perfect. All right. Good. Woo! Yeah. Bear with me, guys. This whole thing has been crazy. All right. So, Sunrise Movement. Okay? This is like the Hitler Youth on steroids. Okay? Behind the picture, you have the UN. Okay, the UN, United Nations, has for a while now been pretty vocal about their support for, you know, green policies and forcing all of these nations to get in line with green policies. And that is the group here that's primarily behind the Sunrise Movement. You're going to hear a lot about the UN when we're talking about this.
you have key figures here where you'll see these young people who are, the term is called youngos, which is young NGOs, okay? These young people, you saw Greta Thunberg. You see these young kids out there who they're propping them up like they're some kind of diplomats, like there's some special people, and they're telling the kids this, that they're special, they're diplomats, they're stroking their egos, they're making them feel like they're doing something very important, when in reality they're just taking advantage of the naivety of young people and their enthusiasm, and that they want to make a change, and that most of them have been brainwashed by these climate culties to think that the world is going to end in 12 years. I mean, they're really panicked because they really are brainwashed. That's the point here. So I want to go ahead and play the Sunrise trailer here in a minute. But first, I wanted to get into some of the points. I kind of bullet pointed out some of the main key things that I wanted to talk about and that need to get out to you guys. First and foremost, our undercover infiltrator spent... This has been a project for 2 years now to gain access to these leftist organizations. Our infiltrator has gained access to the Sunrise Movement and other leftist organizations. We'll just put it at that. I don't think we're fully ready to say some of them, but one of them, one of the organizations that we are going to talk about is Shut Down DC. If you guys are on YouTube and you've already seen the trailer, there was a woman in the video who's talking about how on election day, these leftists are being instructed to go vote, and then the minute they go vote, they're going to go protest. A bunch of them in D.C. are going to protest at the Black Lives Matter Plaza, okay? And you're going to see Seattle-like protests there where they're planning to occupy. Do you remember when they tried to occupy D.C. and President Trump pretty much showed him who's boss and made sure that they didn't? Well, they're going to go for round 2 on election day. And they're doing it regardless of the election outcome. That's one of the surprising things here, okay? Because I was thinking like, okay, so they're going to do this right after they vote? Like, wouldn't they at least need to wait a day to see whether or not their guy wins or not? No, it doesn't matter. They're going to be actually protesting regardless of who wins, because get this, they're protesting to either A, if Trump wins, they're going to protest and contest the election results. They're going to say that they don't accept the results. They think that Russians meddled, or they think there was some kind of foreign meddling. And they're also going to demand that the courts take action and that there be a recount if Trump wins. Yes, hold on. I'm getting word here. What's going on?
People are asking you what your Twitch account is.
Okay, my Twitch account is just simply Millennial Millie. So Millennial Millie on Twitch. That's my Twitch account. And Twitch is like a gaming platform if you guys have never heard of it before. So I might actually try playing some video games. I'm actually pretty good at video games, by the way. I really am. And I've had some experience with multiple different video games, especially, well, one of the things I was really good at was Wii. But that's a whole nother story, okay? Because Wii's kind of like more, you get involved with your body and moving around and the Wii gravity and all that. But yeah, I'm going to be playing some video games and talking politics on Twitch, but I'm also just going to be doing chats like you see here. And Twitch is going to allow me to control more of my B-roll and put up articles for you guys. And it seems to be a better platform because YouTube has gone completely tyrannical. They censor everything. They've started age restricting a bunch of my videos. The video I did where it was talking about the 100-day siege, that was the last Sunrise big expose that, you know, I put out. That video they put as age restricted. So they're actually trying to make it so that people under 18 can't see that video, which ironically enough, the Sunrise movement themselves, they are a bunch of young people, and some of them are under 18. So they might need to be privy to that information. So they think, okay, they're young enough to, you know, watch Sunrise. I'm sure they aren't putting age restrictions on any Sunrise content that's out there, but they're putting it on my videos. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more stuff on Twitch, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on many of these social media platforms. I know that they have really been pushing for conservatives to get off these platforms. They demonetize us, they shadow ban us, they use their algorithms against us. So if you guys ever see my account disappear on either of these social media platforms that you usually watch or look for me on, you can always find me at millennialmillie.com. That is my website. I post news articles, videos. If you guys have not seen Shadowgate, that's where you can find the documentary Shadowgate. You can share it with your friends, have them go watch it on there. I know Shadowgate has been banned off basically every freaking platform practically, except for BitChute and Library. So those are like the only platforms where you can find it other than my website, millennialmillie.com, because YouTube said it was hate speech. Okay, what is hate speech about Shadowgate? We didn't talk about race, we didn't talk about gender, we didn't talk about any of that fluffy stuff, okay? We just simply talked about the deep state. So I guess it's hate speech if you're exposing the shadow government and the deep state. Go figure. But who would have thought or guessed that they would use hate speech as an excuse to censor political speech and, speech that reveals the deep state and the shadow government? I mean, who would imagine that? Who would have guessed? So, all right, back to Sunrise Movement. There's some key information here. Like I said, they are planning to protest the day of election all across the nation. The big protest that they're planning, though, is going to be in Washington, D.C., at Black Lives Matter Plaza. That's what they're calling it. They're all going to be out there and they're going to be occupying. So they're going to try to take a little chunk of area like they did with Chaz and these other areas and make it their little autonomous zone and occupy it and demand that President Trump either leave from office, whether he wins or not. Okay, if he wins, they're going to say, let's contest it. They're planning. We have their Zoom chats, guys. I'm not just saying this. We have their Zoom chats. We have their we have a lot, okay? Their Google Docs. We've got their internal stuff. And that's what they're planning. Right now, they're actually doing logistics because they know that during election time, it's going to be cold in DC. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to realistically set up a campsite in the middle of Washington, D.C. in November and try to stake it out until Inauguration Day. Okay? And they're figuring out, how are we going to stay warm? What are the logistics? They literally game plan out. Okay? We've got internal Zoom videos with, what is it called? It's Shut Down D.C. And they role play and they gameplay out war game strategies. So they'll have people on their Zoom chats be like, okay, you're Antifa group, you're the union group, you're this group, you're that group. And they'll like role play out scenarios for what, if the police come at them like this, or if this happens or that, what group's going to do what. It's pretty bizarre. And one thing that's interesting to note is also that World Bank high-level employees actually jump in on some of these Zoom chats. Okay, we've got the video, and you're going to see it in the documentary. We've got Chuck Schumer planning it out with the Sunset Movement or Sunrise Movement, talking about how he wants to be the face for the Green New Deal 2.0, which he just announced the new Green New Deal 2.0 at the beginning of September, and of course is getting barely any media attention, really. It's almost like they want to keep it hush for now, okay? And the new Green New Deal is called Thrive. So if you guys want to look that up, Google that, check it out, Thrive, Green New Deal 2.0. They're going to, as soon as the election's over, if the House is still controlled by the Democrats, if, Biden gets in, they're going to move forward to try to pass this Green New Deal 2.0, aka Thrive bill. And it's going to be ugly. It's got a lot of the same stuff you've seen before, like, you know, just banning cow farts and wanting to like crack down on automobiles and just really wild, radical policies that you probably never would have imagined that mainstream politicians would ever get behind. Yeah, they're getting behind it, because the real sinister thing here is that this is Green Party politics and policies that is actually communism. You know, communism is what lies beneath this whole thing, okay? And I always figured, you know, if we're ever going to see like a communist uprising, some kind of an insurrection, it's going to be through the Green Party. It's going to be through that ideology. And what they're doing is they're getting all these young people thinking, we have to do this now, we have to act now, brainwashing them, and they're all getting on board. And one of the main things that they're pushing for through the green policies, because you follow this up, you follow it up, and what does it go to? It leads to the UN. The UN has their hands all over this. So how do you guys feel about the UN, who's got all their hands in this Sunrise Movement, okay, orchestrating with the Sunrise Movement for this protest organization and other leftist groups that they all affiliate through, because they kind of spider through and intertangle, okay, these leftist groups? They are planning to interfere with democracy and interfere with an election process. So that's an issue. You want to talk about foreign, you know, election meddling? That's election meddling right there, I would say. I would say it's election meddling. So, all right, let's get to the trailer. We're going to go over this. I'm going to play the trailer for you guys. And then after the trailer's over, don't go away, because I'm going to be right back on with you guys, and I'm going to break down some more information and give you guys a couple little spoilers for the the Sunrise Exposed documentary. All right, so let's play this. Years to infiltrate these leftist organizations.
Go away.
Look at these are high school kids out here. These are high school kids.
No, this is my first time ever protesting.
Wow, how do you feel?
I'm very nervous because I'm in the high-risk group for resisting arrest.
2 minors are going to get arrested. Their parents will be in D.C. Our lawyer is down to support.
Because we can, young people in Boston, can shut down the whole city. If I have 1,000 young people, I can shut down 4 or 5 highways, and this city is in shackles.
Just realized we needed to take over the entire United States and all institutions in it.
Over the past few months, momentum has grown for what I call a global Green New Deal
that aims to destroy the United States.
Funders.
For 2 years to infiltrate these leftist organizations.
Go away.
Look at these are high school kids out here. These are high school kids.
No, this is my first time ever protesting.
Wow, how do you feel?
I'm very nervous because I'm in the high-risk group for resisting arrest.
2 minors are going to get arrested. Their parents will be in D.C. Our lawyer is down to support.
Because we can, young people in Boston, can shut down the whole city. If I have 1,000 young people, I can shut down 4 or 5 highways, and this city is in shackles.
Just realized we needed to take over the entire United States and all institutions in it.
over the past.
I just want to let you know that the reason they use young people is because they know that the young people will get off on a lesser criminal charge, and it also looks worse to have the police arresting children and minors. So take into account that they use children as media props and exploit them, essentially. Exploit them so that they have criminal records. Well, you know, oftentimes kids can get things expunged more easily, but still, they're using children as a dirty tactic to smear and create propaganda for the left wing.
Momentum has grown for what I call a global Green New Deal.
that aims to destroy the United States.
Funders to date have been folks like Hewlett Foundation, Bullitt Foundation, the C4 Arm, Open Society Foundation.
Is Sunrise here? Hi. Hey, oh my God.
It's Sunrise, phenomenal.
Uprisings, including actions like burning buildings, are legitimate and powerful forms of resistance.
I love the term siege because I feel like that's exactly what we're going to do.
We need a different tactic to target our politicians.
We will march into their homes at midnight and make it plain and simple for them.
We're asking you to take action maybe like you've never taken before. We are not going to accept a result of the election where Trump stays in office.
Free the people, fight the power, fight the police.
Abolition. The secret to the success of Paris was that you had China leading the developing countries.
The young people was the strongest element to force politicians to understand that things have to change.
Because your activism and concern can mobilize all of society. And where society goes, politicians and negotiators will have to follow. Keep up the pressure. Don't give up. Do not relent.
And it's all coming out before Election Day. Coming soon. Hashtag Sunrise Exposed. All right, so there you have it. That is Sunrise Exposed. It's going to be coming out very soon in October, so surprise leftist organizations that are plotting to undermine democracy, plotting to destroy capitalism, destroy America as we know it. Surprise. Let's talk about Joe Biden, okay? One of the interesting things here, and this is some terminology I'm sure you guys are going to hear more of, especially if Joe Biden were to somehow win, which, look, I think that the likelihood of Joe Biden winning is slim to none. However, with the recent ballot, fraud, election fraud, mail-in voter fraud that we've been seeing, especially in James O'Keefe's Project Veritas video, if you guys haven't seen it yet, it is alarming to say the least. It's disgusting. These people are running around just taking ballots, selling them like it's a commodity, hustling, and working with Ilhan Omar and these other Democrats to steal elections. This is not good. There's a problem. I've said it before. I do not trust these mail-in ballots at all. I want to go in person, vote in person. Even then, there's still a risk of your vote being stolen from you because of the election machines, okay? We know that the electronic machines, there's all kinds of those things have so many discrepancies. There's so many issues where people will literally be clicking on the screen and it will flip their vote right before their eyes. Or even on the back end, you've got all these other programs like Seidel and these other issues where there's discrepancies in elections and conflicts of interest where you have the company, like in the Kentucky election, this is what they had. The same company that was actually managing the machines, the electronic voting machines in the voting booths, okay? They also had the contract to manage and had backdoors into all the counties' computer systems. So they actually had access through backdoors and through clouds into the court recorder's computer systems. So that's a major conflict of interest when the court recorder or the county recorder, the county recorder is supposed to be the one overseeing that and double checking the results. So if they have a back door, they could actually make sure that record reflects the same as it would reflect in the electronic voting machine systems. That's a huge conflict, okay? And we all know the cheating games that the Democrats do, like how they, in Kentucky, how they had all those old voters put back on the voter scrolls, people who were deceased or were illegal aliens were even put on the rolls, people who didn't even live in the state for decades were put on the rolls. It's disgusting. So the only way that they're going to win is by cheating, okay? So it's ironic that these leftists are plotting to say that they reject the election results if Trump wins, when a lot of the voter fraud that's going on and being conducted by the left and the Democrats, because that's all they got. I mean, and I think they're trying to hide the fact that Joe Biden doesn't have much support by making it so that he has all of his rallies, all of his events are virtual. Go look on his website. Try to find a Joe Biden event. It's either going to be some tiny little private event or it's going to be a virtual event to hide that he doesn't have a big turnout. Because remember in 2016 how we exposed Hillary Clinton and her lack of a turnout? Let's just say that. I mean, she had barely anyone there. If you guys haven't seen some of the old coverage that I did in 2016 for Hillary Clinton's campaign, I suggest you look it up. There's actually a playlist on my YouTube account, Hillary Clinton. I think it's called Hillary Clinton or Hillary's Carnival Circus campaign, something like that. You can see all the videos and me documenting the fraudulent ways that she ran her campaign and how she would hold speaking events at universities, like she did one at a university in Philadelphia. And she made everyone think that the people who turned up were college students, when in fact, they actually brought in young children from a high school. Okay, and it was a high school that had a population that was predominantly African American. So they were brought there as a field trip. And they tried Hillary Clinton's press people tried barring me from getting in there. They did all this maneuvering to try to, keep this hidden. You go inside there, I show you what it looks like in there. It looks like a Hollywood set. Okay, just all of that stuff. We exposed it. We destroyed Hillary Clinton in 2016 just by exposing her fraud. The polls were saying, oh, Hillary Clinton's going to win. She's going to win by 20 points in Ohio. She's got the lead on Trump. Meanwhile, barely anyone was going to her events, and Trump was getting more and more and more and more traction. I mean, his rallies just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we showed you guys it. We showed you it. Now we can't do that because Biden's all virtual. He's all virtual. So, and we'll see how the Democrat debates go tomorrow. We'll see. I don't see Biden being able to do well. In fact, I'll be surprised if he turns up. I mean, who all thinks Biden's going to chicken out or come up with some excuse like that he's got corona or he just refused to debate with Trump because he's a racist or fascist or whatever excuse. I mean, do you really think he's going to show up? I don't know. I don't know. If he does show up, it's going to be crazy. I'm just saying that. It's going to be crazy. What's going on?
Do you have your phone?
No.
Can you see questions or comments on your...
Yes, I can.
Okay, just one.
Okay, so let's talk about Joe Biden, okay? Joe Biden, did you know Joe Biden has actually talked about having a green bank? Yeah, a green bank which would revolve around climate finance. So that's one of the things that the people in Sunrise talk about a lot is climate finance. Okay? So Joe Biden's talking about a specific, creating a specific bank, a green bank, to focus on green infrastructure and green projects and all this green stuff. And see, that is him trying to appease the climate crazies over there. But he's also trying to appease the UN, okay? Because the UN, they're like the puppet masters behind these climate cults. Who's fueling them? Who's funding them? Who's, giving them all of this organization and giving them these trained tactics to use, okay? Especially propaganda tactics. They're really good at that. So that should be concerning to everyone. Also, the fact that the World Bank works closely with the Sunrise Movement, the UN. I mean, even to the point where, like I said, they had a high-level UN employee on Zoom chats talking to the DC, the shutdown DC group. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, mind you, some of these people are probably like Antifa basement dwellers. They go out and find the crazies. You saw it in that video where I showed how, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. I put out a video the day before the protests at Lindsey Graham's house. Okay? The leftists were planning to do a wide awake protest outside of Senator Lindsey Graham's house, and we had their internal Zoom chats. We also had video our undercover got for us at their training event where they actually were practicing kicking in Lindsey Graham's door, okay, and screaming and shouting. They were going to do this at like, I think it was like 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. No, they were going to do it 6 to 8 a.m. Eastern time. Imagine that. Imagine being a politician or just somebody who's a political influencer, and the leftists are just going to show up outside your door, and they're literally training to kick your door in, practicing that. So we made sure to get that video clip out, get that information out. We contacted, we had our sources or friends that we know that have contacts with Lindsey Graham's people. We put out the word to Lindsey Graham, and then we also put out the word to the DC police. And we did all that even before we uploaded the video onto Twitter, and even just amplified it on Twitter and let everyone know this is what the left's planning. These groups are planning this. They were coordinating this with AOC and with Chuck Schumer. Okay, because then AOC and Chuck Schumer went out and had a big press conference about the whole thing, and were pressuring Lindsey Graham and kind of making veiled threats toward him that he better refuse a SCOTUS nomination from President Trump. This is like, it's like eco-terrorism, the beginnings of eco-terrorism. That's what we're seeing. These groups are highly organized. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can get some B-roll up on the screen for you guys, because we're going to test this out. I don't know if we're going to have any glitches or whatnot, but you have to see this Google Doc that we put out a couple days after we put out the Lindsey Graham video. Okay, this Google Doc shows their detailed plans to protest outside to try to stop the SCOTUS nomination. So let me get this up here for you, because it is going to be crazy for you guys to see how just organized they are, how much they can plan everything out. I'm going to put this here. All right, here we go. Bear with me, everyone. All right, let's get this up here. You can see my Twitter. All right, so you have to see this, because this is insane. If I can find it. It's buried in here. Okay, exclusive leaked docs. Here we go. Leaked docs. The left's plan to disrupt the SCOTUS nomination. I think Twitter tries to block my website. They put up little notifications, so it's not gonna... Okay, here we go. Google Docs right here. Exclusive leaked inside docs show blueprints for the radical left's entire plans for protesting Trump's SCOTUS nomination. Okay? This was their Google Doc, okay? And mind you, when we posted this, it went pretty viral on here, and people started going in there and trolling. Yeah, it says like 30,000 people went in there and trolled their little thing. I think I was trying to show you this comment in here because it's really funny. Someone put in there like, they created locations and events. Let me see if I can, and they put Trump's website in it. Okay. I don't know if I can find it. There's just too many comments on here. Okay, let's see. All right, this is their Google Doc. Okay. It says, what is the guide for? Blah, blah, blah. It's their spiel. Slogans for action. They're like telling people their slogans and what to chant and what to put on their signs, you know? No confirmation before inauguration. Let the people decide. Our future, our voice. I don't want your nominee, I want. And then they put like all these people like that you could put, or or just something else. Look, the Green New Deal. I want justice for Breonna Taylor, you know? They have talking points that they give their people. I mean, who does that? Is this really like some organic grassroots protest? They're giving people talking points, really? Let's see if I can make this bigger for you guys. It's insane. All right, here you go. Assemble your team. This is how organized they are. They have action coordinators, recruitment leads, police liaison and safety coordinator, speakers, media coordinator, social media coordinator, action art coordinator. You know, over the action art coordinator oversees the staging of, you know, the banners and the signs and the people getting together for photo ops. The social media person assigns someone to take photos of the action, assigns someone to live stream the action. I mean, the media coordinator creates a press advisory and press release about the action, contacts reporters and media outlets. Gee whiz, so they probably contact all the leftist media outlets so that the leftist media outlets can then be there to make propaganda for these leftist groups. I mean, give me a break. Make a short 2 to 4 minute speech during action, uplift the action's purpose, mixing with their personal narrative, why it is so important to them and their community. Speakers should refer to the messaging guidance above. They tell people like to create some personal story. I think in there, I don't know where I can find it in here specifically, but I know in here it says like, don't speak from, don't try to stay away from the data and instead just focus on the emotional, significance. I mean, it's ridiculous. Of course, because, the Democrats, they don't like data. They do not like statistics or data because it never favors their opinions and what they're pushing for their policies. Okay, so you get the point. Look, create action visuals. Just staging, body language, the visuals for your event are crucial to telling a powerful story. I mean, you get the point, okay? This is very, very, okay, look here. They also have, stuff they got from Planned Parenthood, if I can find it on here. Where is it? I don't know. If you guys have the time and want to take the time to sit here and read through this whole thing, go for it. I suggest you do. Just so you can understand how these organizations really work and how strategic they are, how organized they are. You'll get an idea of the whole thing and how they set everything up. I remember there being like a Planned Parenthood thing on here. Let me see. Control find. I don't know if it's not going to work on here. All right, so you guys get the point. We exposed the Google Doc that they're planning to, and they did go up and show up. Their plan was to protest on the 27th. And they did show up. They protested outside, and they're going to continue to protest and demand that the SCOTUS does not get nominated. They do not want Trump's pick. They will try to attack her personally. They have been attacking her personally, and it's disturbing. It's disturbing. Some of the attacks, I mean, they've attacked her for adopting children that happen to be African American. Like, who does that? Just when you think, okay, this person, I'm sure Trump's administration, his team vetted her and realized, okay, this person has nothing that the Democrats could try to use against her. Like, and who would have even saw what Kavanaugh had coming? Because that was like way out of left field. That person coming from his past just all of a sudden and making up those accusations. And I guess it kind of went along with the whole #MeToo thing at the time. But Amy Coney Barrett, I mean, she has nothing all they could do is sit there and say, oh, she adopted African American children. That's a good thing. Oh, she's a Catholic. Okay, so what? Are you, the liberals, now going to be religious bigots? Are you going to be the one to sit there and demean someone over their religion? It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. But there you have it. They're going to resist it because they'll point out red herrings all day, but the real issues are the policies. They want the right to abort babies. Planned Parenthood's behind it. Planned Parenthood in the Google Doc I just showed you, Planned Parenthood was behind a lot of their organization and was, directing them. So Planned Parenthood has a financial reason for wanting to make sure that somebody like Amy Coney Barrett would not get in, because if we were to overturn Roe versus Wade, hey, that hurts their bottom line. When you're in the business of selling baby body parts, that kind of hurts your bottom line. So you understand that there's a lot of money behind these leftist organizations, and there's a lot of pull and there's a lot of power. And it links up to the UN. It almost always links up to the UN. Okay? The UN has their own motives. Let me look at my notes here just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because there's a lot of important information that you guys need to see. Okay, so one of the things that I think is important we talk about is Michael Dorsey. In the trailer that you guys just watched, there's a man named Michael Dorsey. He was actually part of the original youth organization that was the predecessor for Sunrise. And that's important, okay? And it was called the U.S. Climate Plan. This organization used to be called the U.S. Climate Plan. Then they changed the name and to give it a new face and put a new, one of the new co-founders as Evan Weber, who was a close associate and friend with Michael Dorsey. But Michael Dorsey is still credited on the Club of Rome's website, of being one of the original founders for Sunrise. Michael Dorsey is a Club of Rome member, and actually the Club of Rome holds these climate youth summits. The UN holds these climate youth summits, and the UN has conferences about how, gender inequity is a problem with climate change. So basically, they blame climate change on not only gender inequality, but on racial injustice and racial inequality. So you'll see that they somehow are able to warp into their climate change cult beliefs, the progressive SJW beliefs, and it melds into this weird, bizarre belief system where they think that black and brown people are the people who are the most victimized by climate change, that their environments and their neighborhoods are targeted more than white neighborhoods are targeted. They believe that they are like this victim of climate change and that there's a racial base behind climate pollution and climate change. So they mix all this weird stuff in. On the video we did, the 100-Day Siege Begins, go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. We show how even when they're doing their Zoom chats, the Sunrise Movement will actually have designated chat rooms, and they'll say, okay, here's the link to the black and brown POC, person of color, chat room, which no white people are allowed in. And then they'll have an everybody chat room with a link where white people and then everyone, people of color, black, brown, whatever, can also be in that chat room. But the white people are excluded from the POC, person of color, chat rooms, and they talk about different things in these rooms, and it just shows some of the weird warping you see here. And you see it when we saw Chaz with Black Lives Matter and these organizations that created that. You see that same kind of weird dogma and those belief systems as well, where they would have they had a big picnic type session at a park in Chaz. And don't you remember, it was like they created a safe space for people of color only and didn't allow the other people that were not people of color in that area. So it just goes to show. And here's where you can see connections. Momentum. Momentum is a group that it's kind of like a group that's above. If you were to look on a chart, you'd see Momentum, and then you'd see Black Lives Matter, and then you'd see Sunrise. So Momentum actually trains in protest tactics. So they're giving training and organization planning, all of these different things to both Black Lives Matter and Sunrise Movement and many other leftist organizations. So when you see these similarities, you can kind of wonder, okay, well, is that because they're getting training from the same group, Momentum? And Momentum was featured in the trailer that we just played for you. Let's talk about the UN, okay? The UN has been, for the longest time, pushing for an international liberal order. We've heard New World Order before, and here's the thing. They changed the name. You're not really going to hear New World Order very much anymore. What you're going to hear is this international liberal order that the UN and many of the people are talking about now, and the Sunrise Group's talking about it. Many of these leftists are talking about it. They're demanding for global governance. And that's one of the things that they talk about in these videos, these conferences at the UN. They're talking about how can we get the youth to demand global governance? Well, it's really simple, okay? You get the youth to all believe a lie. You get them to all believe a lie that the whole planet is dying, that the whole planet is going to go extinct. All of humanity is going to go extinct. They use fear. Because one, it traumatizes kids, it panics them, and they start young, trust me, they start young. Okay, so it freaks the kids out. They think, oh my gosh, the world's ending, I need to do something about it. They're hysterical, they're panicking, they're scared. They think they're being brainwashed that the adults don't know what they're doing. The adults are the ones to blame for all the problems, and that they can't trust the adults as authority figures, and they themselves have to be the ones to run everything. Okay, and meanwhile, all these organizers, these people behind there pulling the strings, are just leading the kids along, these young people, to demand global governance. The kids are willing to throw away the Constitution, throw away their rights, throw away all of it, because they think they're believing that they're doing some good thing. They think that they're the saviors of the earth. They think that it's more important for us to just dissolve and who cares about the U.S., and that we all just need to worry about, the environment and the polar ice caps melting and all these things they say. These are their talking points. Okay? So it's a scary thing. And where does this start? Where is it beginning? Here's the scary part. It's actually starting in our public school systems. I interviewed a woman a while back named Holly Swanson. Holly Swanson was so ahead of the curve. I interviewed her at the Climate Hoax Conference in Arizona, and she just knew so much information. She had somehow worked her way into the boards of education, and she was reviewing the curriculum for the students, for the kids in elementary school, middle, all of it. They started putting in environmental education curriculum into our schools. Did you know that in Oregon it is now mandatory? It's a mandatory prerequisite. You have to have taken environmental classes and curriculum in order to graduate high school. They are putting Green Party politics, indoctrination into public schools. Okay? Imagine if we wanted to put in, conservative, political belief systems, or say, let's have conservative curriculum instead of environmental curriculum or green curriculum. If we had conservative curriculum, the liberals would never let us hear it. Okay? Never let us stop hearing it from them. We'd never hear the end of it. But somehow they've managed to get in political indoctrinations curriculum into the school systems under the guise of environmental education. And one of the creepy things was back in, when was this? 2012. I was, a family friend was working with the school, was a former teacher and administrator, and said, hey, do you want to help out with science camp? Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, sure, I can make some extra money. It was when I was younger, over the summer, and go help out. And I was a volunteer at science camp, thinking, well, okay, they're going to be doing little science stuff. It's really a way for parents to have their kids in a public type school setting, free daycare during the summer when most parents work, right? So I go there and I start to realize, why are they literally had the kids bring in heaps of recyclables and trash. I'm like, why is there all this trash here? Mountains of trash. Okay. And then the kids are all sitting there on the rug, crisscross applesauce, the school thing, right? About 100 or so kids. And they tell me, oh, the recyclables, the kids all throughout the program are going to be making things and using things and creating things with the recyclables. Okay, sure. Okay, I guess I can get that. But see, the whole curriculum was about recycling. Like they figured out ways to squeak in environmental education into the whole thing, so that what ends up happening is all these kids are just being taught about recycling and made to think that anyone who doesn't recycle is bad and is hurting the planet, is hurting the world. And what does that do then when a child goes home and maybe the parent throws a recyclable in the trash bin? Maybe they don't offer recycling services everywhere. The parent throws the recycling. Oh, the kid sees, oh, my parents don't know. They're hurting the environment. They're doing bad things, and that's where it all kind of starts, is undermining the parental authority little by little. And with this green environmental education curriculum that is throughout the schools, when you actually review it and read it, you find that they're actually putting in, there are literally quotes word from word from the Communist Manifesto and this environmental curriculum. So they've got Communist Party sayings and belief systems being indoctrinated into school children under the guise, like I said, of environmentalism and environmental education. So that's where it starts. Then where it progresses is into high school. Okay, the kids start getting middle school age, high school age. Here's how they do this. Recently, a friend of mine let me know that her daughter had this happen during one of her online classes through the public school system. The public school teacher, with the online Zoom chat session with all the students, allowed a college-age person who was, I guess, sitting in to get college credits into their classroom, into the chat. Now, the college person stayed quiet throughout the whole, class session. But then at the end, the teacher prompted a discussion about Black Lives Matter. This is a public school, okay? They prompted the discussion about Black Lives Matter and the protests that have been going on, the recent protests, and how people feel about it. And then the person who was the college sit-in then says, oh yeah, hey, by the way, I'm actually one of the organizers with Sunrise Movement. You can find our group on Facebook and social media. And if you guys really care about, want to get active and protest and get out there and help for the cause and fight climate change and all this other stuff, you guys can go to our channels and on social media and find us and get active and blah, 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 and gives a little promotional spiel to these kids in the public school setting. That's how they're doing it. And then what ends up happening is these kids, they go and they participate, and most of Sunrise Movement's sessions that they do with the young people, it's over the internet now, especially because of coronavirus. They're mostly doing stuff on the internet. They were already doing stuff over the internet, but they mostly do it over the internet now, to where, okay, so the kid gets the information, they goes to the social media, they go to the website, they get invited in. Next thing you know, they get given entrances into to Zoom chats. They take classes, they take courses. They actually have academies where they take tests and pass tests to move up through the ranks with the curriculum that even is offered through Sunrise. They offer their own curriculum. It's really bizarre. Okay, they move their way up through the ranks. Okay, but even from the beginning, they get brought in on these Zoom chats, and they start seeing all these organizers, and every once in a while, they'll even have well-known people or celebrities or people like AOC or Ilhan Omar, any of these politicians and other celebrities will pop in these Zoom conference feeds with these young high school kids, so that the young high school kids think, wow, this is so amazing. I'm part of something. I'm around all these other famous adults and famous people. And they put it in their head that they're so special, that what they're doing is so important. And they just really it's sad what they're doing to these kids, okay? And then it's so that the kids will tell their classmates at school, yeah, I'm part of something big, and I got to hear this celebrity talk. I was on a Zoom conference chat with this celebrity or this politician or whoever, and it makes them feel like they're doing something, not realizing that what they're doing is actually against their own best interests, against the best interests of our country and our nation. They don't realize it, and they're just being used, and it's very sad. And so that's how they enter into it. Then they start getting more and more brainwashed. And then as they get brainwashed, they pass the tests. And our infiltrator moved their way through there because our infiltrator knows a good bit of psychology and knows let's just say, how to appear or come off as somebody who's very suggestive, who, someone who can just be a naive, basically they could play the role of a young, naive person that just ate up everything that they were fed. Basically, I'll be the best brainwashed person of them all, they played into that role, and it escalated them through the tiers with Sunrise Movement. And then when you start getting into some of the higher tiers, that's when they start talking about, okay, let's see all the young people. Who wants to volunteer to get arrested at this protest? They start talking about some of their more detailed plans and how they're telling them burning down buildings is a legitimate form of protest and that it's okay to get arrested and we'll bail you out. Don't worry. All of these things. Now, a parent could just be completely unaware that their kid is getting sucked into this cult. Because, like I said, most of it's on the internet, okay? You could just see your kid live video chatting and be like, oh, what are you doing? Your kid could be like, I'm just video chatting with friends, and you'll think nothing of it, not realizing what's happening. And that's what's happening to a lot of these parents. It's insane. But that is what is happening. And it's alarming. That's why we need to take back the education system. We need to take back that from the liberals who want to indoctrinate. We already know that universities, my goodness, we've got college professors at these universities going out, dressing up as Antifa and being violent and attacking people. It's bad. The indoctrination is real. And even in the elementary schools, that's where it starts. So I'm glad. I think it's a good thing that President Trump recently announced the 1776 curriculum where, you know, they're going to pull funding and schools are not going to be allowed to sit there and be anti-American and hate on America because, hey, we're in America. It's one of those things where, you know, some really good, powerful parents will tell their kids, like, you know, speak aspirations about yourself that are good so that you can become the best person you can become. So if you sit there and say, you know, I do this with my kids sometimes, like, I am smart, I am loved, I am kind, I am, you know, I am funny, or I am, you know, so that they can feel it themselves and then they can be that. So with our nation, if we're telling all the kids our nation's bad, our nation's horrible, our nation only has an ugly past, you know, guns are bad, guns don't do anything good, the First Amendment's bad. If you just start telling all the kids this, they're going to believe it and they're going to make the nation into something that is bad. So that's just my little personal take on the whole thing. But if you guys have any questions, I guess this is kind of going to be hard to do. I'm looking at the chat here on YouTube, and if you guys have any questions, you guys can go ahead and put those in there. I'm not seeing much else on here. Okay, so here's the thing. We are struggling right now to continue to put out content and manage and juggle everything because you guys know what has recently happened with me and how I've been arrested, how I've been targeted, how I now, because of Shadowgate, have lost my form of income. Okay, I already was completely demonetized from YouTube. Okay, YouTube has completely demonetized my channel. They have restricted and age restricted everything. I mean, things are not looking good on YouTube. I'm wondering if my days are numbered there, even though, what do we have, like 443,000 subscribers, okay? But YouTube thinks, okay, we're just going to demonetize you and age restrict your content, saying that my channel's harmful. Okay, harmful to the deep state maybe, harmful to these leftists who want to destroy our country, but not harmful in any other way. So if you guys want to continue to support me so that I can do this journalism and continue to, you know, it's not just me. I've got, you know, people that I work with. I've got our infiltrator. I've got other people like that in the background, and everyone is busting their butt right now. We are trying so hard to just expose these people that are trying to destroy our country. We're trying to expose them because that's what needs to be done, and it has been taking time, and we have been completely caught off guard by these charges and this secret grand jury indictment and this arrest that really came out of left field. I've been caught off guard, and I feel like because I'm now forced to stay in the state that I'm in, I was planning on also going out and covering a bunch of the Trump rallies in other states. I just found out recently from my lawyers that I'm not supposed to go out of the state. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where this has been really hard to deal with, but it's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep fighting until the very end, because that is just who I am and how I am. And I know that I'm doing something that is far more important than, you know, than me just sitting around and deciding to cower. So it's do or die right now. It's not going to be worth it to just, you know, cower and then let Biden win or let the Democrats take over and let our country just go to hell in a handbag. So, all right, guys, I want to show you my website for those of you who have not been there yet. You just go to millennialmillie.com. This is where you guys can find me if YouTube decides to ban me off of their platform, which could be pretty soon. Okay, especially if I start doing more live streams and becoming more effective, they probably will ban me. And this is where you can find me, millennialmillie.com. Now, you can find news articles. You can find, I have a members access sign up where you can sign up to become a member on there. You can sign up for free to become a member. If you want to have access to some of the limited things on there, you can pay $5 a month, which really mostly just helps support me so that I can continue to run my operation and get out content and stay focused on the journalism work that I'm doing right now. So you can sign up to become a member. There's a forum where I post questions and people can chat amongst each other, documentaries, you know, just some fun stuff on there. Mostly what's important, though, are the articles, okay? The articles are important, so please share them, get the word out. You can share these articles on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And you could also support me by buying one of our new shirts. We just got these awesome Drain the Swamp t-shirts, and they are so cool. Drain the Swamp t-shirts. It's got a Millennial Millie on it. It's got me on it. It's got an octopus and me stabbing the swamp, the deep state, with my microphone with free speech, because it's basically me taking on the swamp and the deep state, using free speech as my weapon of choice to go after these swamp creatures. So we have men's tees. These are high quality t-shirts. We also have a women's tee. Here's me modeling the t-shirt. Okay, I just am laughing at myself right now. Here's me modeling the t-shirt with my microphone. They are very comfortable cotton t-shirts, and they are quality, a high quality 8-color silk screen spot print. It is made in the USA. It is not some cheap China stuff. I'm not going to sell out and get content or get clothes or fabrics or anything from China. These are American business people that I have doing my shirts for me, and they are Trump supporters. They are patriots. They are people that love America and love American manufacturing. So you can help support me by making a purchase on the Drain the Swamp t-shirts. And I'm just going to give you guys a little heads up that we are going to be having some Shadowgate t-shirts coming out very soon. So we got the idea to do that after we saw, you know, the popularity with Shadowgate. We had a ton of requests, people asking about having the Shadowgate stickers or posters. So it's going to be pretty awesome when those come out as well. So stay tuned for that. I mean, the Shadowgate logo is just really cool. Yeah, we're going to have posters, stickers, all that good stuff for Shadowgate, because the Shadowgate emblem right there is really cool graphic. So that's a way you can continue to support my work. By the way, let's talk a little bit about Shadowgate. Shadowgate is going to be coming out soon. Shadowgate 2.0. If you haven't heard of it yet, we are dropping another Shadowgate. This Shadowgate is going to be huge, and it's going to expose the military-industrial complex even more than Shadowgate 1 did, the original Shadowgate. So stay tuned for that, guys. That's going to be really exciting to release. You're going to start to understand why they went after me so hard, and why Shadowgate was banned off of every platform, and why after we released Shadowgate, almost all, actually, that's right, every single one of the private contractor military corporations that we mentioned in Shadowgate pulled pages from their web pages after the release of Shadowgate. You're going to find out why they panicked, okay? Because one of our whistleblowers, Patrick Berge, he's going to be showing all. He's going to be revealing a lot. And they were probably more afraid of what he's about to reveal now than they were with what he revealed in Shadowgate. But you see, they didn't really fully know what he was gonna reveal before we released the video. So stay tuned, guys. You are not gonna want to miss it. And just continue to fight the good fight. And I just want to encourage more people to get involved politically. And I thank you so much for bearing with me through this beginning test stream. I promise you, things are going to be a lot more smooth going forward. This is my first time doing this all. So thank you for bearing with me. And hopefully this could be a little bit of a comedic experience for you guys. You guys can enjoy the entertainment value that might have added for you. But yeah, I'm going to be doing this just about every day. I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be breaking down news. I'm going to be rattling off news stories, giving you guys my take, my opinion, and giving you guys more information daily because it needs to happen. So thank you so much. I'm going to try to figure out how to end this live broadcast now. Okay. Let's see. How do I do this? This is so confusing. Here's the shirt, guys, by the way. I've got one of the, I think this is the men's medium shirt. Look at that. Doesn't it look nice? Oh, it's down here. Men's medium shirt. Quality. All right. So yeah, you can get these shirts on my website today. We got them in stock finally, and they are going to be shipping out. So we are so excited to provide these for you. The material is just so soft and comfortable. It's cotton. It is 100% cotton, but they do run bigger. So it might shrink up a little bit, but we have tons of sizes. I mean, our sizes even go up to like 3XL. So I mean, we've got some pretty big sizes, and they run a little bit big, but they shrink down a little bit. So they're super comfy, super cozy. I love the feel of the fabric. Nice high quality t-shirts. So get those to please support me, support my work, so I can continue to do this journalism and do this important work for you and for the benefit of our country, for the benefit of us all, and for our children, because you know they are the future. Our children are going to inherit this country at the end of the day. So thank you so much. I think we just end here.